The paper that silenced the courtroom. Midnight to 0:15. A split screen showing an arrogant lawyer on one side and an old, weathered paper on the other. Host, they thought they had already won. $1 billion corporation against one man's family legacy. The lawyers were laughing in the hallway until this single piece of paper from 1954 was pulled out of a dusty envelope. Today, we're looking at a case that proves one thing. Justice doesn't belong to the loudest voice. It belongs to the one with the truth. 0:15 to 1 o'clock. The conflict. The Underdog setup visual. Images of a farm or a family home under threat. Host, imagine working your land for 40 years, only to be told you have 15 minutes to leave. That's exactly what happened in this case. The opposition used every trick in the book. Fake boundaries, intimidation, and high-priced legal teams. They relied on the fact that the little guy wouldn't have the resources to fight back. 1 to 2:30, the turning point. The page 7 moment. Host. But they forgot one rule from Napoleon Hill, definiteness of purpose. Our Underdog didn't panic. He searched. He dug through records they thought were destroyed. And on the last day of the trial, he presented a document that changed everything. The judge's face went pale. The lawyers stopped laughing. Why? Because that paper contained a signature that invalidated their entire claim. 2:30 to 3:30, the moral and connection to mindset. Host. This isn't just about a court case. It's about how you handle it when life tries to evict you from your dreams. Just like this farmer, your hidden advantage is your persistence. When everyone says it's over, you look for that one missing piece of evidence in your work, in your life, and in your mind. 3:30 to 4 o'clock. The call to action. CTA. Host. If you believe justice should always prevail for the underdog, hit that like button. And if you want more stories of incredible legal turnarounds and the mindset required to win them, subscribe to Karamat Janjua. Let's build that definiteness of purpose together. See you in the next one. Focus. The history of the land and the invisible enemy. To understand the power of that paper from 1954, we have to look at what was actually at stake. This wasn't just dirt and fences. This was 3 generations of sweat. 5 o'clock. In the 1950s, the laws of the land were written with a fountain pen and a handshake. But in the 2020s, laws are often hidden behind digital firewalls and corporate jargon. 6:30. The corporation strategy was simple: financial exhaustion. They knew the farmer couldn't afford a $500 an hour lawyer for 3 years. They weren't trying to win on facts. They were trying to win by making him poor. 8 o'clock. Have you ever felt like the system was designed to make you quit before you even started? This is where Napoleon Hill's concept of persistence moves from a book into the real world. The farmer realized that while he didn't have their money, he had something they lacked: total knowledge of his territory. Part 3. The investigation, 10 to 1,500 hours. Focus. The detective work, perfect for using document/dusty library images. For 6 months, while the world thought he was losing, the farmer became a student of history. He spent his nights in the county archives. 11:30. He was looking for one specific thing: a cloud on the title. You see, corporations hate old records because old records are messy. They are human. 1,300 hours. As he flipped through thousands of pages of property transfers, he began to notice a pattern of greed. This billionaire hadn't just targeted him. They had been slowly shaving land from the entire valley for decades. 14:30. But they made one fatal mistake. They assumed no one would ever look at the original hand-drawn map from the Eisenhower era. Part 4. The courtroom climax, 15 to 1,900 hours. Focus. The final showdown and the drop-the-mic moment. When he finally stood before the judge, he didn't have a team of lawyers. He had a manila envelope, 1,600 hours. When the corporate lawyer stood up to give his closing argument, he was smug. He told the judge the farmer was sentimental but legally irrelevant. 17:30. That's when the farmer stood up and asked one question: does the court recognize the 1954 Mineral and Surface Rights Act? The courtroom went silent. He placed the paper on the desk. It wasn't just a map, it was a restricted covenant. It proved that the corporation didn't just have the wrong boundaries, They didn't even have the legal right to stand on that soil. The laughing lawyers suddenly began frantically whispering. The game was over. Part 5. The Global Lesson and Conclusion, 19 to 2030. Focus, final motivation, and channel growth. This story traveled across the country because it touches a nerve in all of us. Whether you are in the US, the UK, or right here, we all want to believe that the truth still matters. 2000 hours. If you have a page 7 in your life, a truth that everyone is ignoring, don't stop digging. Thank you for spending this time with me today on Karamat, Janjua. This was a long journey, but justice usually is. If you stayed until the very end, comment, I am the underdog below. So I know who my true community is. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the law and the mind. I'll see you in the next case. Editing advice for your 142 images. Don't delete. Spread them out. Each image should stay on screen for about 8 to 10 seconds. Slow zooms. In your editing software, use Ken-burned effects, slowly zooming in or out on the images. This makes 142 images feel like a moving movie. Music. Use ambient suspense music the first 15 minutes, then switch to triumphant/orchestral music from 1700 hours to the end. Chapter 4. The Architecture of Deception, 6:25 to 10 o'clock. Focus. How the billionaire's legal machine worked. To truly understand how close the farmer came to losing everything, we have to look at the legal architecture of his opponent. This wasn't just one billionaire. It was a shell corporation designed to be invisible. 7:30. They used a tactic called quiet title action, a legal maneuver intended to clear up property disputes, but in their hands, it was a weapon to steal. 8:30. They bet on the fact that the legal system is slow and expensive. They filed motions in 3 different counties simultaneously, forcing the farmer to drive hundreds of miles just to defend his right to exist. 9:30. This is a classic Goliath move. It's meant to break your spirit before it ever breaks your bank account. But as Napoleon Hill taught us, every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent benefit. Chapter 5. The Archives of Forgotten 10 to 1400 hours. Focus. The slogging search, perfect for your document/old book images. Let's go inside those late-night sessions at the county recorder's office. Imagine the smell of old paper and the flickering fluorescent lights. 11 o'clock. The farmer wasn't just looking at deeds. He was looking at handwritten journals from the 1920s. He began to realize that the modern digital maps used by the corporation were based on a rescan from 1998 that had a 3-degree calibration error. 12:30. 3 degrees doesn't sound like much, but over 500 acres. It meant the corporation was trying to claim a 50-foot strip of land that contained the farmer's only access to water. 13:30. Without that water, the farm was worthless. He realized the error wasn't an accident. It was a calculated digital heist. He had to find the true North document from 1954 to prove the modern maps were a lie. Chapter 6. The Ghost Clause and the Turning Tide, 14 to 1800 hours. Focus. The technical legal gotcha and the mindset of the trial. Now, we enter the courtroom. The billionaire's lead attorney stood up. He was wearing a watch that cost more than the farmer's tractor. 1500 hours. He argued that progress required this land. He used terms like economic utility and public interest. 1630. But when the farmer took the stand, he didn't argue about money. He pointed to Section 14, Clause B of that 1954 deed. This is what we call the Ghost Clause. It stated that if the land was ever used for anything other than agricultural purposes, the ownership would automatically revert to the original family trust. 1730. The corporation wanted to build a luxury resort. By proving their intent, the farmer didn't just win his 50 feet back. He put their entire billion-dollar project into a legal death spiral from which they could never recover. Chapter 7. The Ripple Effect and Your Legacy, 18 to 2030. Focus. The victory, the lesson, and channel call to action. The moment the judge banged that gavel, the air left the room. The smug lawyers weren't laughing anymore. They were looking at their phones, realizing they had just lost their biggest client millions of dollars. 1,900 hours. But the real victory wasn't the land. It was the precedent. Because this farmer fought and won, 12 other families in the valley were able to use his case to save their homes too. 1945. This is why we tell these stories on Karamat, Janjua. Because one person with definiteness of purpose can change the fate of an entire community. 2015. If you're fighting your own battle today, look at the images on your screen. Those documents, that farm, that man, they are proof that you are only one page 7 away from your own breakthrough. Comment, "I will not quit," below if you've stayed for the full 20 minutes. Hit subscribe to join our community of overcomers. I'm Karamat Janjua, and your justice is coming. The Forensic Deep Dive, 1043 to 1400 hours. Focus, the missing link in the archives. As the clock struck midnight in that dusty archive room, the farmer realized he wasn't just looking for a deed. He was looking for a ghost. 11:30. You see, in 1954, many of these land surveys were done with physical chains. Over decades, those chains stretch, and the land grows or shrinks in records. The billionaires' lawyers knew this. They were counting on survey creep to steal the land. 1245. But then, tucked behind a water-damaged ledger from the 1960s, he found a hand-drawn map by the original surveyor. It wasn't just a map, it was a personal note. It described a witness tree, an ancient oak that marked the true boundary. 1330. The corporation had already cut down most of the trees to build their resort, but they missed one. That single tree was the anchor of the farmer's entire life. He realized that if he could prove that tree was the original marker, the billionaire's high-tech GPS maps would be proven fraudulent. Chapter 6 extended. The psychological battlefield, 14 to 1730. Focus. The intimidation phase and the mindset of the underdog. Before the final trial, the corporation tried one last desperate move. They offered the farmer a life estate. He could stay on the farm until he passed away, but the land would then belong to them. 1,500 hours. Most people would have taken the deal. It was a guaranteed retirement. But this is where the Napoleon Hill mindset separates the successful from the mediocre. The farmer wasn't thinking about his own comfort. He was thinking about the generations not yet born. 1615. He walked into the final settlement meeting without a lawyer and handed them a copy of the witness tree map. The room went cold. The billionaire's lead counsel tried to laugh it off, calling it sentimental garbage. 1,700 hours. But the farmer noticed something. The lawyer's hand was shaking as he looked at the date on the map. They knew that in this county, original hand-drawn maps with a notary seal from before 1960 carry more weight than modern satellite imagery. The hunter was becoming hunted. Chapter 7 extended. The legal trap closes, 1730 to 2013. Focus. The final verdict and the global message. When the judge finally looked at the witness tree evidence alongside page 7 of the deed, the atmosphere in the courtroom shifted. 1815, the judge didn't just rule in favor of the farmer. He issued a scathing order. He accused the corporation of predatory mapping. This meant they weren't just wrong, they were malicious. 1,900 hours.